Okay, this is going to be my flip-flop trunk tutorial. Basically, this is geared towards the Y32 Cedric and Glorias, and I'm sure the SEMA would be exactly the same since they're similar. Pretty sure trunk setups are going to be the exact same. So, first thing you want to do is you want to pop off the cover, and the cover just has all the little plastic pieces that come off, and then of course set that off to the side. Then next what you want to do is you're going to want to take the harness off the trunk. So you can just pop out the clips and get all the way through, and then you got to disconnect probably like 5 or 6 connectors. The 2 connectors for the reverse lights are really hard to get to. If you ain't got small hands, you'll end up having to take off the light there, and then the harness will pull out enough that you can disconnect it. But you want to get this harness down and off the trunk, and then there are 2 rubber stops that are in there. You could leave the stops on or off if you wanted. I took the stops off because that allowed the arms to rotate up about another inch or so. Really your choice. I felt that having a metal stop instead of a rubber stop that could give out or change, then my level wouldn't be off, so I went with that. But once you get the harness off and then you pull out them rubber stops, you're going to want to get a friend, and you're going to want to put some towels or something right here, towels, small pillow or something, so that way when you're taking off the 2 bolts on the trunk, you guys can catch it. And then you remove those 4 bolts, and then the trunk will come off. Okay, so once you have the lid off, just pretend the lid is off, the trunk lid is off right now. The next thing you're going to want to do is you want to take your brackets. These are like those little elbow brace brackets. And what I did was, these are 30-pound brackets that they hold. And it fit on there just perfectly, like with this. You could get a bigger one, but you got the cover coming over it if you wanted to. But this one fit on perfectly, and then I basically did a small pilot hole for the 3 holes, and then I used self-tapping sheet metal screws, and I installed the bracket. And you want the little hinge part to be on the inside of the post. Okay. So I just did 3 small pilot holes and then self-tapping screws and put it in there. Originally I thought that maybe the screw holes, if I cut out the holes here, it's going to sit more flush. But as I found out afterwards, it's not going to, and I'll explain that later. So, but that's basically what you need to do. Take your thing and attach the hinge so the bracket's going this way, and you're golden. Okay, so you're going to want to try to put these back in with the bolt paint matching up on the bolt heads as much as possible, because what you're going to have to do then afterwards, now you're going to have to lower this down, and you're going to want to be very careful watching the edges there to see how close it gets, because you want to get your alignment on your trunk to be about the same again, right? And then what you do is when you close the trunk, when you close the trunk, then you'll know your alignment's good. So, and you want to try to get it as much as you can. The arms will shift left and right a little bit, but this is the very important part. So you want to secure those bolts as tight as you can and test fit the trunk. And once you have your trunk setting how you like it, how you like your lines to be, then you're going to lift it back up. And then you're going to have your hinge, your 2 hinges that are left. And then you'll just want to, you're going to have your 2 hinges left on there showing. And then what you're going to want to do is flip your hinge up and do some small pilot holes again on your, on the holes. And then I used the self-tapping sheet metal screws again, and I secured the trunk lid to the top. Now, once you have your trunk lid secured to the top, you're going to want to go ahead and probably what you want to do first is you're going to want to loosen up these bolts. You're either going to need to put some kind of shim there, or when you just put the bolts in, you just don't tighten them down all the way. And the reason being is if you tighten them down all the way, it's going to sink. It's going to sink the trunk lid deeper than the edge of the car. So I've played around with some shims and stuff. I'll probably come back and maybe shim it later. But for right now, I'm probably just going to only put the bolts in a little bit. I'm reusing the OEM bolt. I'll probably go and buy it's probably an M6. So I'll probably go get an Allen stock M6 bolt that's got a bigger head. It's easier to do just with the fingers. But after you get your hinges secured, you're going to want to go ahead and close the trunk and then check your fitment and see if your lines look good. Okay, so I did a pretty decent job. I think the left one is a tiny bit bigger than the right one, but it's straight. It looks straight, and the hood looks like it sets right. So again, the reason why you leave that space there is because what happens is it will end up sinking. It will end up sinking in the it'll end up sinking in the trunk, and then it'll sit flatter. Okay. Now, when you're drilling these holes up on the top hinge, be careful. Don't accidentally poke through. I accidentally poked through. I'm not too worried about it because when my body kit and everything gets here, I was taking the car in to get a couple of little things done for body wrap. Body work done because I need to rewrap the car. Like there's like a little hand dent here one time from pushing the car, and just got a few other little things, but when I do my next wrap, I'm going to get those taken care of. So it didn't break my heart too much. I thought I had the drill stop on so it wasn't too deep, and it must have slipped on me, but I got this side perfectly. So, but it's very important, you want to line up your trunk before you put those top hinges on, so then that way when you close it, it's good. And like I said, you don't want to tighten those bolts all the way, because if you do, your trunk will sit down too much in the back. And so, but that's that. Now I'll show you how I have mine set up. Okay, so once you have it all set up, I'm going to show you now how I set mine up. And I actually made a little setup so the arms will stay up, and then I made a basically like a trunk prop. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my trunk up so you can kind of see how that looks, and then I'll come back afterwards and show the actual mounting points and everything I did and how I made those. So here we go. I'm actually using some swords, and I made a bracket, and I have a mounting hole. Okay, so there's the setup. There's the trunk. Overall, it's pretty level. The trunk is a little bit curved, and it has some curved parts to it. So depends on how you look at it. This way here is nice and straight, pretty level. So I made these brackets here. So there was already a hole here, and I just put a M6 riv nut in there. And then I have these display swords, and I actually made a little bracket so the sword sits inside the bracket, and attach that there. And what that does is that means that this arm, like the hood, will not drop forward. So there's no way for it to drop down. It looks nice and level. But by putting that on there, this is now secure. So the wind and stuff, it's not going to fall down. I'm going to be having a wing coming too. I've got a VIP style wing. But overall, it's pretty straight. You can come look at it from the front of the car. It's like just a little bit above the roof line. And then I took and made a hood prop for the trunk. I'm gonna maybe talk to my body guy when I get the rest of the body work done and see if there's some way they can make some kind of bracket on the trunk, so when it flips down it will stop on the arms. But I messed around with making some brackets and stuff, and you'll have to have some really super strong metal to use, because just like the regular like 4-inch L brackets, when I cut it to the length I liked it at, the weight of the hood still bent it. So using this for now, and then maybe when I do the body work, I'll see if there's something they can come up with that will allow it to sit flat. But that's what it look like. That's what the setup looks like. And working on my air setup. Got the second battery. New stub setup, new stereo. So I think it looks pretty decent. It's different. Okay, now I'm going to go and put on the rear cover so you can see what it looks like fully finished. And I'll show you the hood prop that I made, the trunk prop. Okay, once you have your cover back on, that's basically what your trunk will look like when it goes up. Just like a normal trunk. It'll go up and stay up once it's all put back together. In order to put my cover on, I had to trim just up high enough to get past this piece right here. So that way when you flop the trunk over, it will close. So there's the trunk in the up position. All right, so there it is, fully done up. It's got the cover installed, so anybody looks in there. I just need to finish up a little bit on the back end, make it tight on there, since I had to cut for the arms to come down. But that's what it looks like. It's solid. It will not move, go down anywhere. Should be good. Domo. And doorman. I need to get a bigger one, I think. Got a few more little things I want to do on the trunk to finish it off, but I think this is good. I'm probably going to polish that strut bar. So that's my flip-flop trunk for a Y32. Most of them show you how to use a hinge, but since I wanted to keep my cover on the bottom of the trunk, I went with using the OEM bolt in the bottom. But you can do the hinge. There was another guy who did one right after me, and he did the hinge. So I prefer to keep the cover. I just think it looks cleaner with the cover instead of having the hinge showing through. So you really can't see the hinge work I did. It's on the back side a little bit, but when I wrap the car again, we'll cover all that up, so it won't be seen when I'm completely done. See, I'm gonna get that to tuck up in there a little bit, so it'll be good. But when you're walking from the back side, you can see the trunk is covered, so it looks clean. And I have an idea for everything else when I rewrap the car. So I'm just waiting for my body kit to come in. Right now it's estimated to come in, the container is estimated to come in sometime in September. And once I get the body kit in, I'm going to fit the bumpers and the side skirts and everything. And once I get them fitted, we're going to finish the air install. Then I'll have the once I get the air ride done, then I'm going to take the car to the body shop and get the body kit fully put on, and try to get it onto the bumper, because I got a half body kit, so it's kind of like a maybe a half and 3/4, 1/4 bumper. It's not actual bumper replacement. It's more like lips all the way around. So the front one, I'm going to get it so it looks flush, looks like it's all part of the bumper the way it's supposed to. And in the rear, it's supposedly going to come up right where that line is at now, so it really won't, we shouldn't make no difference in the back. But I'll see once I get it all. And then I got a VIP wing coming. So like I said, I'm going to get that fitted. Then I will finish the air ride. Get the air ride set up. I'm going to take it down to the body shop. Get all the body stuff done to it that I want to get done. And then take it back to Preet. And he's going to wrap it. And I got a good color picked out. And I got pretty cool accent design set up too. But once this COVID is over and show season starts back up in Arizona, luckily all this is going on in the summertime here, so we don't really have shows now. We're not really missing out on the car scene like everybody else, because it's 115 degrees out here during the day and nobody's out there doing shows. HIN is the only one that comes here and does an indoor show, and they ended up canceling it because we were still under lockdown during that time. So I will be coming out strong in show season, so hopefully I'll have everything done by mid-October and I'll be ready to roll. If you have any questions, please drop them, ask. I know this is long, I know I talk terrible, but I'm very happy with this. So I just need to figure out one more thing on how to make it sit like that without having to use a hood prop, and I'll do that. But I wanted to make a video so everybody can see how to do it, and if you have any ideas on how to make that float, please let me know, because the problem we have here is, if you see right there, so the hinge, it's hard to see, the hinge actually won't sit on the pole flush, and our pole, when it's straight up, well, when the hood is all the way open, the trunk is all the way open, the pole is at an angle, so it doesn't sit flush. Some of the cars, it goes all the way up, so our arm is fully extended, but it doesn't go all the way up straight. It's at an angle a little bit, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But I'll figure it out. Just gotta put my mind to it. But this will work until I then. All right. Thank you.